Tracy with MeatRx. I'm a coach on MeatRx, and today I'm here with another coach from MeatRx, Stephen. Welcome, Stephen.
Hello, nice to see you.
Nice to see you too. We're going to talk today about carnivore and Stephen's success story. So, Stephen, can you tell me what your life was like and your diet was like before starting carnivore?
I can, yeah. I've always been really health conscious, and I'm probably one of the best people to speak about because I've never drunk, I've never smoked, and I've always acted healthy. So I'm 55 now. But even when I was in my 20s, I was a semi-professional, well, you call it soccer in America, but a football player here in the UK, winning tennis tournaments and running and eating things like porridge and low-fat yogurt and skim milk and blueberries and freshly squeezed orange juice, and doing all the so-called sort of healthy stuff. Some protein shakes after I was working out. I bought a picture of when I was in my 20s, probably a bit light there, but anyway. So I was pretty healthy, and I thought I was doing all the right things, and I was very active. So really, I should be the poster boy for all this sort of high carb, egg white omelette and avoiding fat. But what I was noticing was, although I looked okay, my performance wasn't particularly improving. I was having to run further and having to do more and cut out lots of bits and pieces to try and keep my weight down. So I was running. When I started running, I was running for fun and doing 5Ks. And by the end of it, I was running 10 miles and half marathons and doing mile sprints and stuff like that. So I was actually sort of quite fit, but my waist was getting bigger. And then I noticed that I was, basically I was urinating all the time, and I was very thirsty, and that was a sign of diabetes. And, as time progressed, it became obvious that my health was getting worse and worse. I was constantly plagued with rash on my forehead. I had athlete's foot permanently. I had lower left quadrant pain. I had to go have a colonoscopy. I was in and out of hospital twice with really bad back. And for someone that was really healthy and not drinking, not smoking, eating all the healthy foods, and doing absolutely everything you should do, I was pretty much a state. And I could just see my belly getting bigger and bigger. And really I shouldn't, because, like I say, I was doing everything, doing all the activity and eating really well, what I thought was really well, and avoiding fat. That was a really big thing. I did a whole year with like soy yogurts and stuff like that. And that was the worst I ever felt. That made things even worse. So really that's what was happening up until I was about 50. And then I had a coronary artery scan. And I remember going into the scanner and saying to the radiologist, "This is going to be terrible. It's going to be a really bad score." And she didn't really understand why I said that, because I did look okay, but I did have quite, I was a bit bloated and I had quite a lot of gas and all this sort of stuff. And like I say, the colonoscopy didn't really show anything. So I had the heart scan, and that was something I paid for privately because I knew something was wrong. And my score was 639. It's horrendous. And I spoke to the cardiologist, who was saying, you basically very, very high risk. What are you going to do? And I said, well, I've looked at low carb, and I'm going to go low carb. One of the really interesting things is I'm also a qualified phlebotomist, so I take my own bloods. So I've got lots of baseline blood tests, and I've got some results in front of me. I'll sort of come to those in a minute. So I did the low carb, and before I was doing all the bloods and stuff like that, immediately I saw some benefits.
Wow, that's amazing. So, yeah, wow, that was something. How did you implement the carnivore diet? How did you come across the carnivore diet?
Well, it's quite strange actually, because I went to Japan. I'm in the UK, so quite lucky to be able to get to Japan. And I was 189 pounds, which isn't terribly overweight, but I'm only 5'10", so I was a little bit overweight, a little bit pudgy. And in Japan, you're led to believe that they eat tons and tons of rice, which isn't true. It's mainly meat and fish. And I was there for 10 days. They don't have breakfast. That's a big thing, which I've since learned, that's rubbish to have breakfast. I don't have breakfast. And that was a bit of a culture shock for myself and my wife, because we were thinking, well, where do you go for breakfast? Because they don't really do that. So anyway, every time we went to get some food, it was mainly meat, and it was some meat that we didn't even recognize, and bits of stomach and stuff like that. And obviously we went for sushi. But over the 10 days on a holiday where most people gain a bit of weight, I actually went from 189 pounds down to 178 and felt amazing. And I wasn't having any bread. Bread is a thing over there that really is, not a thing that they eat a lot of. The fast food is mainly meat and fish. So I realized that was the way ahead. And I didn't go straight to carnivore. I went low carb, and there was a lot of benefits. And I think it's a journey for a lot of people with carnivore that you try the low carb, and then you think, well, actually I'll go keto. I'll try even lower carb because this is really good. Will lower carb make it even better? And of course it tends to do that. And then, I saw some videos. I saw Ken Berry and Sean Baker and all this sort of thing, all the main people that talk about carnivore. And I thought I'd give it a try. So that was in May. And what I did was I took my bloods around that time as well, because I wanted to see if it really was as good as everyone said. Because saying it, you feel really good, is one thing, and having proof is another. So all the rashes went. My athlete's foot has completely gone. All the gas has completely gone. The back pain's completely gone. Haven't actually been to the doctor since I went low carb, actually. So I haven't had a sniffle for sort of 5 years now, really, and I've not seen my healthcare professional at all. So my bloods in May, my testosterone from May to July went up 30%, just doing carnivore. Yeah. So and there were, you can go on my social media, but all my scores are sort of there. But some interesting things as well was my HDL went up, my triglycerides came down. So I halved my triglycerides, and my HDL went up, which was pretty good. So within 2 months, I was totally converted, because absolutely everything went. The gas, uncomfortable, things like that, totally gone. And I also, because I'm a personal trainer here in the UK, I deliberately didn't exercise. I wanted to see what would happen if I didn't even exercise. And all those good things happened without any exercise. And I went down. So I remember in Japan, I was 189 pounds, and I went down to 161. And then I started to add muscle without any exercise, because one of the things, because of my job, I do body composition, fat calipers and all that. I do the muscle mass. And my body fat percentage dropped and my muscle mass went up. Now I've reintroduced exercise that's accelerated the muscle mass. So I've gained another 8 pounds of muscle and lost body fat. So my body composition completely rejuvenated at 55, which apparently you can't do. And I'm only working out 15 minutes a day. So,
wow, that is incredible. That is incredible. So you started last May. Is that when it was in 2019?
Yeah, I think I was edging into carnivore before. When I was doing keto, obviously you're quite low with your carbs then. And yeah, it was May. On my birthday, basically on my 55th birthday, I just thought, right, okay, I'm going to really go for this. I'm going to cut out absolutely every plant. And but I haven't gone for the beef, water and salt yet. I actually tape it in a bit more. So I do enjoy my fish. So I have salmon, I have sardines and mackerel, not necessarily tinned actually. I do have some tinned, went for a snack. But obviously I have the rib eyes and lots of pork belly, and pork scratchings are sort of my go-to snack. I do drink mainly water. It's mainly mineral water, just still mineral water. And I'll have just 1 cup of coffee a day.
Wow. Do you include dairy in your diet?
Well, that's the interesting thing, because when I started, I did, and obviously a lot of eggs, by the way. I did have a few cheeses, and I quite liked like a burger pate with like brie or something like that. And I would say that it's only really been the last month that I've stopped the cheeses, and that has definitely seen a bump in performance and muscle mass, and definitely in lean muscle mass. I've definitely lost body fat, so that's gone down about another 4%. So I'm around 12% now. So I'm quite happy with that.
Wow, that's awesome. So you improved your digestion and your skin.
Yes.
And your muscle mass.
And my muscle mass, yes. But also performance, that's the thing. I feel I need less sleep. That's definitely more energy. I'm more buzzy. I'm quite a buzzy person anyway, and I always liked my activity, and, you know, I've done some, you know, interesting jobs and stuff like that. But I do seem to get up earlier. I seem to sleep better. Feel a lot more positive about things. It is quite incredible, really, how different I feel. But looking at that picture, you know, when I was 23, I would not have believed it. And I can remember there was an experiment with some bodybuilders. I mean, I was doing a bodybuilder show, a natural one. And if someone had said to me then, you know, you could look even better with a sort of high protein, high fat diet with no carbs at all, I really would not have believed them. And of course, the other thing is the diabetic side of things, because I was pre-diabetic, but my HbA1c has gone way down. So, you know, it's been miraculous for me. I don't really think it's a miracle, but it feels really amazing, actually, to be a completely new person, and probably fitter than I was when I was in my 20s, actually, when I was playing sports and stuff like that.
Yeah, you're aging backwards, it sounds like.
Yeah, Benjamin Button, I think. But yeah, and that's the thing. I'm definitely stronger. That's a real big thing, because I was lifting weights for bodybuilding. So I was really quite a serious, you know, person in the gym, and I was doing all the big compound movements. But now the weights are heavier, but I'm finding them easier as well. So the whole thing is incredible. But even just the muscle mass without exercise, I found incredibly difficult to believe at first. But I suppose it's a good source of protein. It's more protein than most people eat, and the carbs aren't in there ruining your metabolism. So
That's true. That's true. And so I think it's glycine, is it, that helps your muscles?
yes, yeah, I mean, absolutely, that's one of the things.
Yeah.
But I think it's just been very interesting for me, because I definitely was a skeptic, and that's a strange thing. When I first started, I really was totally sold on you know, you must have breakfast, you must have your porridge, you must have your low fat yogurt and your skim milk, and you know, put some blueberries on and different colors and all that stuff, and all the veg, because they're natural, they must be really good for you. But of course, you know, that's not really turned out to be the case, really.
Right. That's wild. Yeah, that we've kind of been led to believe a lot of different things about diet, but this is truly the nourishing thing for our body, the most nutrient dense foods we can eat.
Yes. I mean, I'm finding all of the things that, you know, people have noticed, you know, my wife's noticed, and when we go out for a meal, I'm the easiest one to serve, because I know exactly what I want and what I don't want. And I do get full straight away. You know, I'm not stuffed. It's not an unpleasant fullness. I'm not dying for a dessert. I don't miss anything. And I really was you know, the sandwich guy. I would have all those sort of things. And I liked, in England, we have a thing called Pret, which is like, you know, the takeaway sandwiches, and they're very, you know, inventive and fresh and all that. I used to be into all of those sort of foods. And I just don't miss any of it. I don't miss any of it. And I really enjoy, you know, a good ribeye. Some pork is really good. If I do have a breakfast, which is, you know, tends to be later in the day, of just bacon and eggs or steak and eggs, it fuels me for the rest of the day. It's absolutely amazing. I snack so much less and probably just have 2 meals a day now, really.
It's so satiating, isn't it?
It is, and it's sometimes you look at your plate and other people think, well, is that enough? And it always is, because you end up with more meat and more of the good things, really. When you look at somebody else's plate and it's stacked full of all the cheap ingredients, the rice and potatoes, and they've stuffed themselves with bread, and it's just a completely different way of eating, but much easier to understand. And once you start to do it, you find that you look at other people and think, I can't believe you're eating all that bread. I can't believe you're eating all that. It's just not good for you.
Yeah. So you do test your blood regularly, is that right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I deliberately did the testosterone because in my job, I meet people of my age or older, and not just for nutrition, but for the personal training, and I also do rehab and stuff like that. And they've given up. They believed, that's it. It's all wear and tear. I'm 45 now. I can't reverse things. And then when I say, well, I'm 55, and I change things at 50, so you can do this at any age. And I've now got clients in their 80s, 70s, 80s who are losing weight. Spoke to a guy on Monday who's lost 90 pounds. Can't believe it. Reversing their type 2 diabetes because they're able to manage their blood sugars much easier. And it's really been very helpful. All the stuff I do here in the UK, I'm a specialist practitioner in obesity and diabetes. So it's been a bit of a difficult thing because it's not official that they want you to try low carb, but it is in there, and the diabetes website in the UK does mention low carb. So people have heard about it, and because there's a lot of people trying the low carb diet or zero carb and seeing the results and managing their type 2 diabetes easier, and even type 1 can be, because your blood sugars aren't going up and down so much. It's quite like I say, miraculous actually. It's such a simple intervention.
It is miraculous. Yes, that's so cool. I love hearing your story, Stephen, and I love being a coach on the same team with you too at MeatRx. And thank you for letting us interview you today.
That's okay.
Is there anything else you want to add?
No, I think that's it. I've done my testosterone and I've done my cholesterol, and well, my CRP is very low as well, my inflammation marker. So that's 0.8 and stuff like that. So
awesome. So, did you do a CAC score? SPAC? I can't remember. Coronary calcium scan. Did you do that kind of a thing?
Well, I did that before, and that was 639. But I'm doing the retest hopefully when I'm 56.
Oh, okay.
There are some regulations here about radiation exposure that I'm allowed to have, because every scan has a certain amount of radiation. So I'm going to try and have a rescan when I'm 56. Hopefully they'll let me. But as soon as I can do a rescan, I can't wait to do it, because I think those numbers will either have hardly progressed or hopefully reversed.
All right. That sounds great. Thank you so much.
Okay. It's very nice to speak to you, actually. So
nice to speak to you.
I hope that was interesting.
It was very interesting. It's so cool to hear a success story like this.
Lovely.
Thank you, Stephen.
Thank you.